to the Rundown with Ramon. So glad you're here today. My name is Ramon Ray, and this is the Rundown with Ramon. Speaking with Holly Reed, who's going to tell us all the things about all the things. And I'm so glad you're here today, Holly Reed. How are things in your world as we have this conversation about profit, wealth, and business and more? Holly, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Glad you're here today. Listen, Holly, let's dive right into it. Before we begin, Holly, tell us I'd love to hear you say your full name of your company, website to reach you, because as we get into this, people can be like, wait a minute, who's this lady? I want to get to know her. So feel free to unpack a bit, where to reach you, say your name, who you serve, all that good stuff right at the top. Holly Reed, the mic is yours.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Holly Reed. I am the CEO and Chief Financial Educator of the Master Playbook, and we are a financial education company that serves kids and family. Specifically, we are on a mission to equip the next generation to master money, and we want to empower families and business owners who have families, right, to leave a legacy and to give their kids a financial head start. And so you can find me across social media at the Master Playbook, and that is also our website, themasterplaybook.com.
I love that. Holly Reed, this is very amazing. And so you talk to the adults, though, who want to build wealth. Dive into that a bit more. It's not new for me, but how you're saying it is newish for me. And sometimes people don't know they have a problem. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't know?
Absolutely.
This is not
Yeah.
normal. I have a solution for that. So dive into that one inch deeper.
Yeah, so with our families, my perspective, my expertise, my zone of genius is also talking to business owners who have families, business owners who are also parents, right? There are so many different pieces of us, but we are whole individuals. And so we have to address some of these things. So while we are successful business owners, we still have families that we are taking care of. We still have loved ones we care about. And a question that often comes up when I'm talking to business owners who are also parents is, how can I leave a legacy for my family with the thing that I'm most passionate about, the thing that drives me every day, which is this business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with me, the reason I'm even in this space, the reason I talk about mastering money, and because that is really the foundation, right? If we know how to manage our money wisely, then we can start making different choices. We learn about the vehicles, the things that are available to us to not only leave money for our immediate family, but to generations we may never know, right? And so that's what I'm here to talk about today and share, and hopefully give some people some relief
Yes.
who may be carrying this burden of, as I'm getting older, as I'm scaling my business, what comes next?
I love that. Holly, you don't mind if I ask you a few silly questions? At least they may sound silly
No.
to you, but okay, good. So I have one silly question. When we talk about legacy building, then I want to get to the tactics and things you do, but I am curious generally, legacy
Yeah.
building, wealth, and all those things. Me and my family are okay, and I was middle-class family. I had food to eat and doing okay. But are we talking about like what you teach or the people you work with? And I'm not sure even how to ask it, like Bloomberg, Forbes, Gates, like, I'll help you get there, Mark Cuban billion? Or are we talking about, does legacy just mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? Help me define how that looks for your average client. Let's make it very personal. For your average client, is Holly saying, yeah, Ramon, my average client, they have minimal of 3 airplanes and 6 houses. God bless America. I don't know. Or we saying my average client is just better off maybe than their parents were. Give me some context if that makes sense.
Yes, my average client is, you might be first generation where you can actually even start having legacy conversations. My average client, you might be first generation of making 6 or 7 figures in your business. And so all of this is new information to you. You don't have the blueprint, you don't have the master playbook where someone has done it generation time and time again, but you may be the one to break the curse, to
Mm.
start the legacy building, to start building out the blueprint and what you want it to look like and include for your family.
I love this. So we're talking about what I'm hearing. And again, I'm talking to the Rundown with Ramon audience. People, I'm pretty open about my world. people like me-ish, where you're not saying, no, you're not going to the existing family offices, although you could and you may, but you're talking about, no, you just want to change the conversation. If you've never said the word generational wealth at Thanksgiving, Holly, is for you. Am I hearing that in my, how I see it? Does that sound right to
Absolutely.
you?
If you've never heard about trust, if you've never
Yes.
heard about all the investment vehicles
Mhm.
that are out there and available now, we share a mentor, Ramon, and one of the things he says often are the gatekeepers are gone. And that's absolutely true. We have so much access to things that maybe our parents and
Mhm.
grandparents didn't have. And it's time for us to start taking advantage of it and thinking about these things to start laying the foundation. One of the things that I firmly believe in, or the reason why the master playbook exists, is because we should not be starting from step one every time somebody start making good money, right?
Mhm.
We should not be starting from block A. We should be building on the things at this point. And often it's us, it's me, it's you, it's the people who are making the businesses and building the business, creating something from scratch, something from nothing that can start to put those building blocks in to create a future trajectory that maybe we've never even seen.
No, that's powerful. And I am on that journey right now, Holly. Again, those are my family hearing this. Y'all are good people. I love you. But I am one of the few starting out this journey of generational wealth, of thinking of the future, if you get what I mean. So I'm loving this conversation. So Holly, let's get right into it and talk about maybe some of the practical steps. And I'm guessing, but I could be wrong. You're the expert. Can you set us up a scenario? Is it Jonathan, who's one of us, however that may be, by the way? He's the first entrepreneur in his family, making 800,000 a year in his business, or making 3 million a year. I don't know. Set up the scenario how you want, maybe, if that's helpful, and then guide us. Ramon, here's the few steps that I walk everybody through, if that's a fair question, what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, absolutely. So the scenario could be somebody who's making six figures for the
Okay.
first time. They could be making $250,000. Like wealth is relative, right? But as long as you have excess, as long as you have discretionary income that you can start making different choices with, where it's not all about, how am I just going to survive? Am I just, once you've covered those basic necessities, you have the discretionary income to travel, to invest, to make different choices, right? To maybe stop, get off of this cycle where America has literally taught us that we have to work until we're 65. And then once we hit that retirement age, then we can enjoy all the things that we've worked for. But you and I both know things have changed, and that is not the case. That's not the society that we're living in any longer. And so now it's time to start thinking beyond those things,
Mm.
and specifically for business owners. Because a lot of things that I come across when I'm talking to business owners, there are these myths that we believe in. There are these things where people think, oh, legacy planning is only for the rich. Or, I don't have kids. I don't have, I never had kids. So,
I don't
one
like kids. I don't want kids. I don't have kids. Kids are left at my neighbor's house. Talk to
right,
those people. Go ahead, Holly. Get them.
right. So people think, oh, if I don't have kids, I can't leave a legacy.
Yes.
Or some people even think that leaving a legacy is selfish, could be selfish,
Mhm.
or they think it's unattainable for them for various different reasons. And a lot of it is just education. A lot of it is just looking beyond themselves, but more importantly, to level set. Legacy is really just about creating something today that will continue to add value and inspire, long beyond you having to lead and direct it every day, right? Legacy is about that long lasting impact that the things we do today, the actions we take, the things we set in place can have on other people, it can have on our communities, it can even have on the industries that we've built our businesses in. And so with that, there's a lot of things that we can start doing. So just to address kind of one of those myths, like I don't have kids,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't leave a legacy, or legacy is only for, the rich and the famous, and that's not it, right? So it goes beyond our business, to the next generation. And one of the ways that you can start creating a legacy, with your business, is to really start documenting what are those core values and the mission that you want to achieve, right? When you created your business, as you are scaling and growing it, what are the core values that you are living by? What's the actual mission? What are the problems that you are trying to solve? And a lot of us have this stuff in our head, and we may have it written down, but we don't have it all written down. And so you got to start by just making it very clear. And the reason that is important is that if you want something to extend beyond your lifetime, or to extend beyond you when you decide, I no longer want to work in this day to day, one of the things you can do is create this guidepost that then other people can follow, right? Another step you can take after you've kind of written it down, created this manifesto, or this guide that other people can say, oh, this is what Holly really cared about, is start investing in the next generation that's coming behind you. I know I do a lot of work in many of my accountability circles, many of my networking circles are among my peers, people who are my same age or maybe a little older. And so one of the intentional steps that I'm doing is making sure that as I'm teaching the families, as I'm talking to this next generation, college students, teenagers, middle schoolers, that I'm also trying to pick out and identify who seems really interested in this, who seems like they would be willing to take this to the next level, and spending more time with them and investing my time and energy in them to make this something that maybe even they could make money from. So what it could look like to others in their industry is partnering, like having mentors, right? Partnering with other institutions, making sure that you are well connected with your immediate community and engaging them so that you can pour your knowledge and your expertise and your resources into these things, so that it can carry on beyond you, right? So these are just a few like intro steps that people can do.
And Holly, what I like about this, Holly, is you haven't even got to Roth IRA, 401k, college 99. I don't even know the terms. I'm sure you know. You could go gangsta easy with me. I'd be like, Holly, stop. You didn't even get there. You're just saying it's changing the mindset, thinking different, simple things like in my center. I'm 51 years old. I got nieces and nephews, et cetera. And I'm kind of going through this ish, but what you're doing, helping me lay a better framework. And I have a little group called Wealth Building. Half of them don't care. Uncle Ramon, why? You do you old, but there's one or two. DM me privately. I'm interested. Can I go with you? So I like this. And I got to be careful, can't show favoritism. Well, maybe I can, but my point is I'm just amplifying you. What I'm trying to say is this is so good. It's not about, I thought you were going to go to the speeds and feeds and Merritt Lynch, whatever. No, what do you call this part of it that's not even about the money, not even about financial, the financial planning? What do you call this part that you're doing? Maybe it's the name of what you're doing.
No, I like what you called it. It is a mindset. It is shifting, because we aren't accustomed. I mean, we see these things, right? We may even be beneficiaries of somebody else pouring into us. And so success leaves clues, right? So start doing some of the things that inspire you, that got you interested, that had you take a little extra step to, you know what, I'm going to follow this person, or I'm going to make an introduction to this person to learn more. One of the biggest things that I've seen from the people that I admire, or I call them my mentors, they may not even know they are mentoring me.
I got people like that.
But they give so generously, right? It might be their time, their knowledge, their expertise, but they give it so generously where they are pouring into people, into communities that are receptive to the information. Because again, you never know where this may catch. You never know what your sharing may do to inspire someone else to take it and to take it even further. So I think it is a mindset shift, right? So flipping that switch to, even from a side hustle mentality
Mhm.
to turning your side hustle into a real viable, sustainable business, scaling that business, all of that takes a different mindset shift. And often we need to see it in order to, whether it's copy it, emulate it, be inspired by it in order for us to take real action. But I think this conversation about how you leave a legacy as a business owner when you don't have kids, when you don't have someone specifically identified, can is something that people think about. We don't talk about it a lot because we're just grinding, we're just trying to do the things, but we need to keep it in the back of our minds. So if there are opportunities for us to just slow down and
Mhm.
mentor, if it slow down, have a coffee with someone, slow down and make an investment in our communities. So the things that we really care about, the things that we're trying to achieve for profit, if we can do those in other ways and in other areas, that is us starting to build and leave a legacy.
I love this. Again, we're talking to Holly Reed, obviously there on your right, or whatever the side it is, author of Teach Your Child to Fish. I think soon we can go to Amazon or other places and get that. Teach Your Child to Fish and more. But Holly Reed, one more time, give us the name of your business, remind us who you serve, and please remind us how to reach you. This is so, so good. I hope you're flooded with all the rundown with Ramon calling your 1-800 number or whatever you have. Holly Reed,
Well,
tell us how to reach you.
yeah, so you guys can follow me across social media at the Master Playbook. Our website is also there, but we are a financial education company on a mission to equip the next generation to master money and to empower parents and families to give their kids a financial head start. And so I am loving this conversation today where we are specifically talking about business owners and how you can start leaving a legacy, right? Thinking beyond the profits that you're making, that is important. We need that money to pour back into it. But how will your business, how will the mission, the core values of your business live long beyond you, right? Live long beyond the days where you are here to hustle and, try to make a difference from your immediate efforts. But what are some things that you can start doing today to start laying that path work, that those foundational building blocks to leave a legacy long beyond you being here?
I love that. Again, everybody, the Master Playbook, themasterplaybook.com. I had to go see it. Is that her real domain? Because I love domains. I'm like, well, she got that. Themasterplaybook.com. Talking to Holly Reed, themasterplaybook.com. Definitely go check her out and see this if you're interested, and you should be in this kind of conversation we're having. One other question I have for you, Holly, and again, feel free to anytime say, hey, Ramon, I want to shift gears. No problem at all. I can go
Okay.
off all over the place. But one follow-up question I have is, what do you say, what's your guidance for those in family who either, and I'm going to ask you 1,000 different questions, it's all centered around one, who
Okay.
have resistance to what you're saying, who don't understand the business maybe, who, in my case, again, I'll just call it out. My wife had some issues with wealth building. She was like, you mean be like those people? Kind of what we talked about earlier. Good woman, lovely woman, great, but kind of let's pay the bills, let's save, let's, hey, if we're buying this, let's put our coupons. Great woman, but meaning the aspect of making more. So how do you have the conversations? What's your advice just to either those who are against it and or those who don't understand it and or who those are not interested in it? And for me, I'll just pre-tell it, say what I did when I sat with my wife. I just had the conversation and everything was fine. I said, honey, this is what I mean. When those times when if I can't work, what do we do? She's like, oh, so I'm sure there's more I could be done, but just having the conversation was
Yep.
helpful. But what is your guidance? And I'm sure it matters because it could be little kids, it could be adults, but take it where you want.
Yeah, yeah. When there's no interest or when there is this false, um, you know, thinking that, we don't want to become one of those people because having more wealth, having more money somehow is going to make things bad or make us lose our focus on the things
Like in
that,
the TV show, sorry, but
yeah,
like in they see what billions or whatever the drama
yeah,
show on Netflix. Like, no, no, no. We don't want to be like those people. Go ahead though.
Yeah, exactly. Or when people incorrectly recite biblical scripture
Yes.
that
Amen.
where
Yes.
they think money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
No, that is
That's
not
right.
what the Bible says,
That's
right?
right.
And so when you are coming up against opposition, what I would recommend is just finding out what is the root of that. Like what is the thinking? What is the fear that they are afraid of? Is it going to take you away from your religious beliefs? Is it, is it because I don't know, whatever the reasons
Sure.
are, I would try to figure out what the root of those things is and address
Childhood
it
issues,
head on.
growing up with no money, but go ahead. All those things can do it, please.
Right. And so what I would say is get back to what is the root of what you're doing. So a lot of us, or a lot of the people that I hang around, many of us, our businesses are really impact driven. There's a story behind it. There is a why behind why we are even in business. And without going off on a tangent, because sometimes that why can keep us
Go ahead.
as playing small, right? Playing small, being broke business owners,
Yes.
because we care so much about the impact. But what I have seen, what I have read, what I see examples of time and time again is the fact that money is a tool, right? Money is one of those tools that allows you to handle and manage and take care of the things that are most important to you, right? So if giving back is most important to you, guess what? You need money. You need money, you need more money to give back so that you are giving from a point of overflow and not from a point of, taking out of your mouth, taking from the things that your family needs, taking from the financial security and stability that you need to continue on without worry. And I see so many people giving from that place of sacrifice versus
Amen.
giving from a place of overflow. And
Yeah.
so we have got to start making that shift if that's one of the things kind of holding you back. You can do so much more when you have so much more. And so when you start looking at the impact and the change and the transformation that you can make from a point of overflow, then it almost resolves itself.
Yeah. No,
Um,
for sure it does.
right, because you can do more with more wealth,
Yeah.
with more money.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you brought up the fact that if something ever happens to me, I was sharing with you right before we started recording that I was in a car accident
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And thank goodness it was I just got a little shaken up. I'm a little sore today, but had it been any worse, guess what? There are elements of my business that would stop
Yeah.
or would significantly slow
Yeah.
down. And so when you start to build and scale, these are the absolute things that we have to start thinking about, even though we don't want to talk about, people don't want to talk about death. They don't want to talk about long-term illness, but it's a reality of life and things that we have to start realistically preparing for. And so maybe if for me specifically, I am zoned in on partnerships, collaborations, because I know my vision is one that I cannot implement alone. And not only that, there are other people in this financial education space where if we teamed up together, just how much more powerful we would be, what our reach would be than me just trying to do it all by myself right here in the city of Atlanta,
Yeah.
right? There's just so much more that can be done when we partner and collaborate with others who are like-minded, where our missions are aligned, right? And we can, there's really that synergy and that energy of momentum to do so much more together.
Yeah, I like that you said, Holly. Again, I could talk to you for hours. In fact, we just probably got to do this on a regular basis that we got to do. But is the synergies? I think that's very important. So to underline that, as you're working, especially talking about business now, I'm sure you could talk to consumers. Well, teach your children to fish is probably partly consumer too. You can talk to consumers, but business today we're talking about is, I think, make sure you're aligned, because I'm sure there's other Hollies. There's surely other Ramones out there who are great speakers. They're not speaking as good as me, but there are other speakers out there, but they're different. What comes out of their mouth, I'll leave it at that, could be different, but they're just as good. So I think that alignment is important. One, I like how you said, Holly, what happens to you either, and I'm inferring two things. A, when you're gone, when you're dead, what happens to the business? Can it keep providing life, I'm guessing, to the family? And feel free to correct me anything I'm saying that you didn't mean. And then 2, also, what happens, like you said, you got in a car accident, or I've been sick, or things happen to us. You can't do work for 3 months, 2 months, or half on. What happens? Is that kind of that's something I'm hearing? A, you're gone. What happens if it's a nice old age, you're 80 years old, and Ramon and Holly are gone? What happens?
Right.
But if we're 50 or 40 or 30, you probably like 21, then what happens? So that's what I'm hearing. How does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've already talked about that mentality shift, right? And so I'm going to call it the legacy builder mentality. So you got to have a legacy builder mentality, making that shift. Next, you want to start investing in yourself and in your business. So and the community around you, right? So we talked about maybe making connections with your community. If there are partnerships or collaborations you can do within your own industry, if there are mentoring opportunities that you can either plug yourself in or create your own, so that you can start sharing your expertise, getting people aligned with your mission and your vision. These are great steps, right? And then finally, you want to just start taking action, right? And we talked a little bit about this. So having these conversations to get people on board so we can start moving forward, and then taking the actions, connecting with one of the actions that you and I both have taken are, participating in business masterminds.
That's right.
Right? Connected with like-minded people.
Investing in it, sure, it costs money to be there.
Yes, it does. And that's an investment.
That's right.
I look at that as an investment.
Right.
And sometimes we have to make an investment to really make sure that our legacies are solidified and moving forward. And so that investment could look like, all right, there are certain business assets that I need to put in a trust. There are certain things that I need to put in a will, and I'm not talking about downloading forms off of LegalZoom, but actually connecting with certified professionals who can make sure that it's done and documented correctly. So if there are business profits, business assets, business IP, your intellectual property that you want to make sure continues to make money or is sold to a certain person, or maybe there's an employee that you've been working with for a long time and you want to pass the business on to them, that all of those things are done decently and in order, right? To make sure that it is actually getting taken care of.
I love that. Holly Reed, anything I did, I'm sure I didn't ask you a lot, but we got to come back and do this together. Anything I didn't ask you, they're like, come on, wait. You can't close the show down before I say this. And again, we're talking to Holly Reed, everybody. You definitely have to check out themasterplaybook.com, the Master Playbook, across social channels. Follow her on IG, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, Fax Machine, Telegraph, wherever you want to do, carry your pigeon, but themasterplaybook.com. This is Holly Reed, really talking about today, beyond profits, crafting a legacy. Even if you don't have children, you can still craft a legacy. It's a mindset shift. I thought she was going to get into money and 401ks and all kind of fancy terms. No, she said, just change your mindset of how it works and start to have the conversation. We've been talking about what to do if you can't, when you die, if you're not there, you want to retire, whatever it is, or if there's a temporary setback, what happens to your business? But Holly Reed, anything else you wanted to touch on that I didn't ask you? Like, Ramon, wait, feel free to jump in on that as well.
My last few things, I just want people to know that legacy, when we're thinking about legacy, when we're talking about generational wealth, it has to be more than intention. We hear a lot of communities talking about it, but it has to be intentional action as well. So there are things that we should start doing, things that we should start thinking about. You want to start imagining what you want to leave behind. What do you want for your children? What do you want for your community? What do you want for the world to inherit because of your intentional actions? And so when we can do that, we can all become the legacy builders that's within us, and that I know we can each contribute to our respective areas of expertise. Yep.
No, I love that. It's powerful, powerful, powerful. Can you say that one more time? Don't say that. You didn't say don't just think about it, but say that one more time. I think that is a juicy nugget that we need to hear again.
Yeah, so I said legacy isn't built on intention alone, right? You have to take intentional action. It can't just be based off of what we hope and dream one day. We actually have to start taking intentional action so that it becomes a reality.
Love that. Again, everybody, we're talking to Holly Reed, my new friend, Holly Reed, the Master Playbook. Check her out across all channels. My name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon. Get to know me better at RamonRay.com or zoneofgenius.com, and check out Holly Reed, the Master Playbook across all channels.com.